To say we have a full panel with me in person this President's Day. Chris Liza, NewsNation contributor and DGA Group senior advisor. Erin McGuire, Republican strategist, and Dan Cannon, ARC Initiative's partner and CEO. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
So we heard from Homan. DHS covers more than ICE. TSA also caught in the middle of this partial shutdown. Will a deal to fund these agencies happen? Dan, I'll start with you.
I don't think right away. I mean, they're not back until the 23rd of February. I think nothing's happening until then. There's immense pressure for Democrats to hold firm on something. Chuck Schumer from the Senate Majority PAC put out a memo on Friday, I think, on polling on this. And I don't think that memo was designed to get Democrats to sort of get into a compromise posture. It showed 60% of the public wants reforms, 50% very strongly, even 4 in 10 MAGA voters. Non-MAGA Republican voters thought ICE has gone too far. That's kind of data you put out there if you think you want your party to hold firm on something. And I just don't think there's any indication that Republicans want to cave either.
Look, most polls do show that people support ICE, but they don't appreciate the lengths they're going to. Aaron Fetterman went against his party on this. He says Democrats are punishing other agencies. Is he right?
They are punishing other agencies because this is an agency that is already funded. And it's not just, some of it. It's also FEMA. So when we're talking about disaster relief and efforts in this country, there are a number of things that are being taken hostage by Democrats over this negotiation. Dan's point's correct. They're not back until the 23rd. And with State of the Union right around that time, I don't see Democrats coming to the negotiating table before that. Ultimately, I do think a deal will be struck. There will be some form of reform. What that is, though, and what that deal looks like ultimately has to be figured out. I don't think it will include masks being removed. And I know for Democrats that is a big thing just because of the increased threat level against officers at this point.
And I think the key is, I think that Democrats have the high ground politically at the moment, weirdly, on the issue. But I think the key is to Aaron's point, it's like, when you have the high ground right until you don't anymore in politics, right? It's like you're winning. Oh, gosh, we're losing. And I think Democrats have to figure out, how do they get to yes and then declare victory, politically speaking, right? It's like you don't want it to be a month, 2 months, right? Because then you do get into FEMA. Well, what if there's a natural disaster? And how do you do it? Now all of a sudden you're like, oh, the high ground is gone. So I think they have to figure out, okay, what do we really need? What does the base really want? What can we say? What can we sell as a victory? We got these things. Because I think the longer it goes, it just becomes unpredictable, right? I mean, nothing's happening before the 24th. The State of the Union is the 24th.
Right.
Nothing's obviously, I think, going to happen before then. But then it's like, okay, now what? What's the win strategy? How do you got into it? How do you get out of it?
And I think that's a good point because the polling on reforms, that's very large, generic, broad messaging. What Schumer didn't do was put out polling on the specifics of what people actually support. They like the ideas, so those negotiations can still remain fluid. He's not trying to pin them down on a specific reform.
And one more very quick thing.
Yeah.
Remember, as Minnesota and Minneapolis and those images recede, and the truth of the matter is we all have short memories, right? I mean, we just do. As those recede, the political winds can change. Again, immigration tends to be an issue broadly, although Dan may disagree, but broadly, I always say, if the fight's on education, it's good for Democrats. I don't really care what the fight's about because people trust Democrats more. If the fight's on immigration, usually it's good for Republicans. So I don't know if we snap back to kind of the pre-Minneapolis, pre-Alex Petty and Renee Good dynamic. I don't know.
I do want to switch gears to Iran now. I want to play sound from Secretary Rubio, who's in Budapest tonight, of course, awaiting talks between the two nations scheduled for tomorrow.
These people make policy decisions on the basis of pure theology. That's how they make their decisions. So it's hard to do a deal with Iran. We've always said it's hard, but we're going to try.
Dan, is the secretary trying to lower expectations here for tomorrow's talks?
I think a little. I mean, look, Iran has been a strategic problem for Democrats and Republicans alike for decades. Nothing new about that. It's very complicated stuff. I think we have a couple of problems here that he's going to face. One is the unrest in Iran. I mean, you have the protests, you've got the lockdown. 2 is the uncertainty. We don't know what we're dealing with. The strikes in the summer were successful and well executed in taking out the capabilities that existed there. But as a result, we don't really understand where they have the enriched uranium and how much got out at that point. Inspectors have not been in. And so we have less information and visibility we might otherwise have. And as I said, Democrat or Republican, it's a complicated and very sticky situation regardless. So I do think probably smart to lower expectations and not promise too much at this point.
Lindsey Graham suggested, and I want to quote him, no action on Iran is riskier than intervening. Is he right, Aaron?
No action on Iran is riskier than intervening. It almost feels like a double negative there.
Word salad,
right?
almost,
Like, what are you going to say about that? I think ultimately, Secretary Rubio is doing a brilliant job in Munich, and I feel confident in the team that they're sending into Iran with Witkoff to continue these negotiations, not into Iran, but into these Iranian negotiations with Witkoff, to be able to continue moving these forward. It's clear, to Dan's point, though, we don't have a full scope anymore because things have changed. However, even with the changes we've seen in Iran and the unrest, this is something that this president has done very well, is geopolitics. It's one thing that he continues to pull very well on. And while it remains to be seen if a deal can be struck with Iran, I think everybody agrees on a bipartisan basis this is a nefarious actor in a region that we need to make sure does not have the ability for nuclear weapons and capability. That should be the ultimate goal. Everything else should go to the wayside.
We'll see how it plays out tomorrow. I have to end it there. Sorry, Chris.
I had so much.
I know you did. I know. We'll talk later, I promise. Chris, Aaron, Dan, thank you so much. And a more perfect union. Today, we celebrate the greatest leaders in America's 250-year history, how the country is marking President's Day. That's next.